Well, there's no full updates on Spider-Man 4 as of yet, but we're hearing some new rumors today that could indicate the fourth installment of Tom Holland's web-slinger series could be a multiverse romp, which is exactly what Sony wants. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Well, let's break down the rumor and what we think of this, and quite honestly guys, I think Marvel should be very, very careful here. Now at this point, there's no official word on when Spider-Man 4 is going to go into production, so we want to dive into all of this with a grain of salt and be really careful what we believe and don't believe. Fans were actually hoping for a SDCC update, and although many people were looking to Marvel Studios, that would have come from Sony and they were not part of the event. Now we did find out at SDCC that Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars were coming our way, with the first released in 2026 and the second one released in 2027. Now, we recently got a rumor from Daniel Rickman, and guys, we always want to be really careful. Daniel RPK sometimes provides us with some great details, and sometimes they're a bit of a miss. So we want to take it with a grain of salt, and remember, only stuff coming from Kevin Feige, and in the case of Spider-Man, Tom Holland or Tom Rothman, not official, and we're taking it with a grain of salt. Now, what the report coming our way says is that this film should arrive in July of 2026 between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and the report is suggesting it will indeed be a multiverse adventure. Now, if you remember the previous reports, that's exactly what Sony wanted, where Marvel wanted to lean into a street-level adventure for the wall crawler, potentially teaming him up with Daredevil and facing off with the Kingpin. Meanwhile, Sony really wants to see the return of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, especially after No Way Home's record-breaking success. What the report goes on to say is that this movie, since it will be set between the two Avengers films, could indeed be exactly that. Tom Holland's Spider-Man somehow involved in the post-Doomsday environment, meaning that adventure could take place in Battleworld and also could include, well, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as potentially part of the film. Now, there's a lot to take away from this, and there's some good and some bad. First and foremost, I think fans are growing a little wary of the multiverse, and the length of the Phase 4, 5, and 6 multiverse romp has been a bit long, and I think fans are ready to wrap it up. That's so apparent Deadpool was making fun of it in the recent film. I also think the return of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, although probably well received by many big fans, will be something that the general audience will feel like is, well, a bit recycled. Now, it's not that I don't want to see the two guys return, and they were great in the previous movie, but I feel like you can only go to that well so many times, and it might feel like quite the repeat from the last film. We also have the issue that Tom Holland seems to be growing a bit wary of playing the role, and that Spider-Man 4 could be his last outing in a solo movie, even though I'm pretty sure he will be part of the Avengers. Now, obviously, we don't have any real details, but a Battleworld adventure set in a world that Doom builds at the end of Doomsday, well, that could be pretty exciting, and see Tom Holland team up with multiple Spider variants to take on some collective foe. And that could be exciting for the big screen. The potential for not only Peter Parker, but Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, and the almost unlimited number of Spider-Man variants all being encompassed in Battleworld on the screen together, well, I guess that could be fun. But on the flip side, I think fans were ready for a more, well, classic Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home left us off with Tom Holland suiting up in the classic Spider-Man suit, taking to the streets of New York where nobody knew who he was. And that's where fans are really expecting this to go. The reports of him doing an adventure with Daredevil and potentially facing off with the Kingpin on the streets of New York, that has apparently been the plan, and I think Sony's pushback, plus the delays and the reworkings, have kind of put this film in a weird position. I think this is going to be an uphill climb for Marvel Studios and Sony, and in order to deliver the right fan excitement, you're going to have to go way beyond Maguire and Garfield. Like I said, the potential for other characters like Miles Morales or Spider-Gwen to appear in this film are super high, so they can indeed find another way. But I think the fan desire for a grounded adventure and their wariness of a multiverse adventure, while putting Spider-Man in Battleworld for this film might be problematic and could definitely stunt excitement. Now, obviously a really good movie makes up for all of it, and a great Spider-Man film in Battleworld with multiple versions of the character battling off with multiple versions of villains could be pretty awesome. But Marvel has to get this right, and the repetitive nature compared back to previous iterations could definitely be a problem and something fans reject. Now, none of this is official as of right now. The only thing we really know is No Way Home scribe Chris McKenna and Eric Summers are currently working on the script, and basically nothing else has been revealed. I think Marvel's going to keep all the cards close to the chest, but if I'm a betting man, the end of Avengers Doomsday is going to mirror the end of Avengers Infinity War, drive a major change in the MCU as a whole, and the odds are, at the end of that film, we're going to see Battleworld built, and the movies between the two Avengers films will all be focused in that world and see a ton of variants from Marvel's history. Obviously, we're going to follow this one pretty closely. I do think it's an interesting take, but a steep hill to climb, and could be a mistake with all the fan expectations looking towards the streets of New York. But we're going to have to wait and see.